Thank you, sir. Thank you for your frankness and for informing us of what you see are great problems. I want to thank President Trump for his willingness to ask difficult questions about this war, about other wars, and I want to encourage President Trump to follow his instincts.
If I could say, sir, I think President Trump might be the only one that could make that hard choice, because there would be a firestorm if anybody talks about actually ending this. But if anybody can do it, I think it might be him.
I agree completely, and I encourage him to do so. Let's get out.
Amen.
19 years is too long. Let's end it. Thank you.
I want to follow up on that and give Admiral Boucher a chance on that, because this is sort of the argument. Even people who sincerely want to get out and want to figure out a way to end America's longest war, they feel, well, gosh, if there's an attack, I'll be blamed for it. And so politicians are, they worry. They worry about taking blame. A bad economy, good economy, another war, or 9/11. Nobody wants the responsibility. And I think there always is that danger, whether we're in Afghanistan or not. I think there is that danger. And I guess the way I look at it is I think it's sort of like a 20th century idea, or a hey boomer kind of idea, that you have to occupy the acreage to stop terrorism. And there just isn't. So there's a lot of acreage. I mean, it seems like everywhere you look, there's a good place to be. Libya's a great place these days. Somalia is still not that bad. Yemen's a decent place. Mali. I mean, there's so many places that, is Afghanistan unique? And if we're going to take that strategy in Afghanistan, then we really have to take it in the entire world. Are there enough troops and resources to do that? We got to figure out a better way. But what do you say to the argument from people who say, well, if we leave, there'll be another 9/11?
I think you're right. I mean, I think we have, in fact, taken it all over the world, and we have, in fact, said that there's terrorists here, And we define terrorism as people who set off bombs and kill civilians, particularly in opposition to governments that we see as legitimate. And you start doing that, you end up everywhere. The one thing I'll say for those who ask, what have we done in Afghanistan? Well, we've prevented another attack on the homeland from the territory of Afghanistan. Now, we could have done that more quickly with much less loss of lives, American and Afghan lives, and money. But if the goal is to prevent an attack on the homeland, then we should be able to do that with intelligence, with the assets we have, with the diplomacy that we need to deploy, with the efforts that we can use to help governments establish themselves in these ungoverned spaces. And with a lot of vigilance. But my contention is we need to lead with our diplomacy, and the fact that yes, the Taliban's probably going to take some territory as we withdraw. Is that going to threaten the United States of America? I don't think so. Particularly if we can negotiate a solution that has certain guarantees and certain capabilities in it, and we can use financial incentives for them and for the government to maintain a peaceful situation.
I think you're right. In the early stages, the argument that we may have prevented another attack by disrupting those who sort of plotted, organized, and financed the attack is real, but it very quickly became something else. And then, see, this question is still an important question, though, because, and I asked General Lutz this, and I'll let both of you answer this question, is we still have a lot of people who very glibly say, oh, my goodness, ISIS is over in Afghanistan. It's like maybe they're radical Islamists or jihadists, I'm sure, in Afghanistan. The Taliban are radical. But the idea that there's a cell of ISIS that's going to take over Afghanistan or take over the world or come to New York City is just one that's a bogeyman that is put up there to keep us there.